If you or a loved one is approaching retirement and are looking for a caring community to answer questions, you are in the right place this morning on KFOR. Good morning. I'm Dale Johnson. The Aging Adventure, brought to you by Legacy Retirement Communities, is our weekly conversation with senior living enthusiasts whose mission is to improve the way we age and how we perceive aging. Every Saturday morning, John Kopetsky, Legacy Terrace Executive Director, and Legacy's radio spokesperson, Kathy Blythe, bring together people who are passionate about everything from why food is important for healthy retirement years to the importance of activities for seniors. Kathy, John, good morning again.
Good morning.
Morning, Dale. Great to be here.
Coming up on today's show, Kayla Schaf, Retirement Living Advisor on Connection versus Loneliness, and Jo Jansma, Enrichment Director on Living Life with Purpose. But first, we bring back Barb Scott, Director of Clinical Operations at Legacy, to continue the conversation on how to approach assisted living.
Bart, we had so much fun last week with this. You agreed to come back and talk about the assisted living idea just a little bit more. So, first of all, good morning. And what does this term assisted living mean?
Good morning, John. Thanks for having me again. Assisted living means for the person living at home that they just need a little bit of assistance. That may be assistance with their medications. They just have a hard time managing those medications at home. There's lots of changes that go on with our medications. And when you go to a doctor's appointment, they may change that up, and it's hard to keep track of that. And so that person may need help with their medications. They also may need help with bathing. Maybe it's just unsafe for them to get into the shower by themselves now or get into the bathtub. Assisted living staff would be there to assist. Same thing with dressing. Maybe they just have a hard time putting on those socks and shoes in the morning or buttoning up that blouse. And the other thing would be with assisted living is the meals. Maybe they're just having a hard time figuring out what's the best meal to have, what's healthy for them, and just putting that food on the table.
Assisted living is not the same thing as what people traditionally think of as a nursing home.
Absolutely not. There are levels of care, and the first level, an entry level, would be independent living. Second would be assisted living. Third would be nursing homes, or as we call it, long-term care facilities. Long-term care, skilled is in there also. So long-term care facility is a nursing home. Assisted living is not a nursing home. We do not follow any regulations the same as skilled and the same as the long-term care. It's totally different. Assisted living is you just need a little bit of assistance with daily activities.
How do you go about figuring out which level is appropriate for you? What questions should a person ask? Or maybe you're doing research for a family member, your mother, your father, another loved one. What questions should you ask?
I think first off, if a person is looking for assisted living or trying to figure out where they need to go, is to go around and look at the assisted living facilities in Lincoln. Everybody is a little bit different. What they provide is a little bit different. The common thing with assisted living is they all provide housing and they all provide meals. Other than that, it just depends on the place that you decide to stay. There is activities that are involved. Some offer more, some offer less. Assistance with bathing, dressing. So I guess the first thing that person needs to do is sit down maybe with a checklist and say, okay, I do need help in the morning dressing. I'm starting to get unsafe with showering. Look at what kind of quality of life they're having at home. The worry with being on your own at home, it's not worth it. Let assisted living do that for you. Let us take care of that worry. Let us take care of those physical needs that you may have and the socialization needs that you may have. So basically, when you start, the first thing you need to do is look at each day, the things that you struggle with, things that you feel like you need a little bit of help with, and is that something assisted living can do for you?
It's certainly not unusual for somebody to be hesitant about making the leap to go to assisted living, whether they're the family member or they're the person who's moving in. So hesitancy is certainly involved and fear of the unknown. But once they get in there, I think you probably have a lot of success stories to tell, and people whose lives were even transformed by that move.
Oh my gosh, definitely. I realize it is very, very difficult for someone to give up their home that they may have lived in for 50 years. That's a big transition. We had a lady that moved into one of our buildings. Actually, it was at the Legacy Terrace, and I was acting director of nursing at the time, and I went in to assess her at, I believe it was a skilled facility here in Lincoln, and she was not ready to move out of her home, but she absolutely needed help. She was having trouble with her medications, so therefore it was causing her some physical distress. She was very adamant about staying in her own home. She has been living at the Legacy Terrace now for maybe 2 years, well over 2 years. And she is involved in everything. She is in every activity. She's a little social butterfly that runs around. She knows everything that's going on. So she is one of the success stories that comes right to my mind right at the beginning, because she just has bloomed in assisted living, and it's because she made that happen.
I think it's important for folks to not have to act in a crisis too. It's best to do things proactively, as with any situation in life, to do it proactively rather than reactively when you've got a time crunch.
That is a great point, John. And, that's just kind of human nature. It seems like that happens a lot, where you don't make that move until you absolutely have to. And then it's kind of a rush deal. So being proactive is very important. There's one of the myths that goes along with assisted living is that a licensed nurse has to be on board for all assisted living. That is not true. Assisted living can run on a medication aid as opposed to a licensed nurse, which is in your skilled buildings. So assisted living, it's regulated by the state, but it is run by a medication aid and resident assistants in some of the places.
Thank you, Barb. The benefits of connection versus the negative impact of loneliness. We'll talk about it next on The Aging Adventure, brought to you by Legacy Retirement Communities. Welcome back to The Aging Adventure, brought to you by Legacy Retirement Communities on KFOR. This is Dale Johnson, joined by Kathy and John from Legacy. Retirement communities like the Legacy create connections. On that subject, we reach out to Kayla Schaf, Retirement Living Advisor.
Good morning, Kayla.
Good morning, Kathy.
Over the years, you and I've had conversations on a lot of subjects that have to do with aging. And one of the things we've talked about the most is loneliness. During the course of any given day, you visit with people who are coming in to inquire about changing their status in life because of loneliness.
You're right, Kathy. One of the things that we see, and I think we all can relate to, is that as we age, socialization continues to be critically important to our overall well-being, and it just gives us purpose. And a lot of the folks that we visit with, after discussing and really taking some reflection on what's missing, that connection piece generally is.
And so as you have progressed, obviously you've been at Legacy for let's just talk about that for just a second, because how many years is it?
It'll be 20 in July.
And so you've talked to people who were lonely. You've talked to people who were complacent. You've talked to people who thought they would never again be able to interact with others and be comfortable doing it. And here again, you have seen some magical transformations.
Yeah, absolutely. I just most recently had a great conversation with a current resident just about the value of connection, and as a reflection of after living at the Legacy for several years, one of his comments is that, when I walk through the halls, I am being seen, and I have friendships, and just that value of being seen and understood is something I think many have taken for granted. And just, the overall need for that connection. We're hardwired for human connection, and how important that is.
Kayla, I know that we've said it over and over again, how important socialization and how important connection is. What impact have you seen where that has on somebody's, not only their mental health, but their physical health?
Oh, absolutely. So, lonely adults, they're more likely to have a poor diet. A lot of folks that we discussed, cooking becomes a big challenge, and just maybe not receiving the nutrients that they should get to have good energy. Maybe they're having a high fat diet, so just feeling poor. Their sleep is generally affected. Maybe just not getting good sleep, or maybe their routine is lacking, so they may be sleeping more during the day and having an irregular sleep schedule. Really mental health, being socially disconnected, you're at higher risk for depression. So having a reason, a purpose to get up and people to see.
Gives you a reason to get up in the morning. I think we all need that purpose. And for someone who doesn't have that 8 to 5 job anymore, what can a person do to give themselves that reason to get out of bed?
Yeah, so I have an assignment for you and John and Kathy. I think it's really taking inventory of your day. Look at, maybe write yourself a social prescription. What are ways that you can connect with your daily routines, your weekly, your monthly connections? What activities do you really enjoy? What are things you can try new? And really reframing your thinking about connection and loneliness. What can you do to take power of your life and take action?
Those are great steps, Kayla. Could you go over those just briefly again? I'm trying to embed them in my brain.
You bet. So what are ways that you can connect with others? How can you increase your daily, weekly, monthly connections? How are your routines affecting your mental health and well-being?
I think we've all experienced, young, old, and everybody in between the last year, what disruption in life looks like, and how so many things we had taken for granted suddenly weren't available to us. And many of those connections were gone. So I just imagine being in a situation where you don't go to a job every day, or you don't have the mobility of getting in your car and driving somewhere and connecting with people. Imagine for all of us who have that, not having that. And loneliness is incredibly pervasive sometimes among older adults.
It is, John. And a lot of times when folks really reflect on, is their environment serving them? That generally is a good indicator when maybe a move is the right decision. How is your environment serving you? And a lot of folks come to the conclusion that, just by changing their environment will enhance their quality of life tenfold. A lot of, for my own grandmother, having a reason to get up and go meet friends for breakfast and having activities already available that she just had to step outside those doors and immediately had connection.
I think it's more like reframing it. Instead of thinking about it being the end of something, it's the beginning of a new adventure.
Absolutely. A new chapter. And a lot of times it is challenging our old thoughts about, what retirement living was, what it is, and how does it serve you in your life, and really taking control of your own future to have the best life you possibly can.
Well, thanks so much, Kayla. We'll be talking to you again here in weeks ahead, but you really have a passion for what you do, and it shows every day. So thanks.
Next on The Aging Adventure, an expert on living life with purpose when we continue. Welcome back to The Aging Adventure. I'm Dale Johnson with John and Kathy from the Legacy. Next on the show, Jo Jansma, Enrichment Director at Legacy, on encouraging seniors to maintain their personalities and their talents during retirement.
Casey Jo, good morning. Glad to have you with us.
Good morning. Thank you.
Just expand on that, what Dale said. I mean, talents, what can I offer?
Every person should build on their talents and what they enjoy in life. And really that will give you purpose in the end road. I think when you think about, well, what's my purpose? It can be very daunting. We don't all wake up every morning and go, oh, I know today I'm supposed to do this, and this is what's going to bring me joy. So just talking about your purpose, it's something that just truly matters to you, something that aligns with your values and beliefs and brings you joy. So everyone has a purpose in life. And within that purpose lays a unique talent for each person, just waiting to be expressed and shared with the world. If you've ever watched someone and you've witnessed them living their life with purpose, you just see that and they just radiate happiness, and you can just tell, and you're like, wow, I want to be like that. How can I tap into my strengths and my talents and just really live your life with that purpose? And if you haven't found your purpose yet, that's okay. When you begin to kind of shift your focus, that's when you'll kind of notice everything coming to light. Living with purpose just gives you an unlimited supply of fulfillment. It just makes your bucket feel so full, and it just makes you happy. And at the end of the day, that's all we want, is we want to be happy.
So it sounds like it's a difference of somebody who just kind of takes life as it comes, or somebody who makes decisions to go in a certain direction.
Yes. And when you know your life has purpose and direction and meaning, it can just make life more exciting. And it just makes getting out of bed some days a little bit easier. It's easy when the weather's not so nice, or when there's something going on in your life. It's easy to just stay in bed. But when you know that you have something driving you out of bed and giving you purpose, it just makes life more exciting and just makes everyone happy on a regular basis.
So how does one go about identifying that purpose?
So again, like I said, it can be kind of daunting, but it doesn't have to be. If you just have a little faith and take small steps at a time, you'll really end at that end goal. And things that we enjoy in life are not random. They're kind of put in our soul to burn. They burn into our soul and just kind of make us happy for a reason. So instead of asking yourself, what is my purpose? That kind of seems like a loaded question. Try asking yourself, who's the person I'm trying to become? Or if you look at those people around you and you envy them for a reason, what about them do you envy? And how can you take that to your own strengths and talents and just put that into action for your own life? So when you start thinking about the times that you've truly felt fulfilled in your life, think about who you were with. What were you doing? What emotions were you feeling? Did you lose track of time because you were doing something that you love? I can think of examples of my own life, playing with my children. Children give us purpose some days. And when you're playing with them outside and then you look at the clock and you're like, oh, dang it, it's past nap time. Time flies by when you're just really enjoying life and living with your purpose. And I think at Legacy Retirement Communities, we walk our residents through writing their life story. And oftentimes through doing this, they can revisit certain areas in their life, and it can just be helpful to make us more aware of those times when we felt like we were truly fulfilling our bucket and what gave us excitement.
I do think as we get older, the whole purpose thing changes. When we're busy with a family and a full-time job and everything, a lot of purpose is almost created for us. And then when we get into retirement years, things look different and we have to reframe it differently. And as you said, you can come up with a new purpose. You can go back into your life when you were most happy. And sometimes all the way back to childhood, the things that absolutely brought you unbridled joy. Somewhere along the line, we lose that capacity to just be real spontaneous and zany. And at least I'm speaking for myself here, but yes. I think I speak for others as well. And it's good to come full circle, and it's possible.
Yes, that's very true.
So, Casey, Jo, what's your purpose right now? Let's give an example.
I would say right now my purpose is my daughter, Asher, and my job. I love working with older adults and just making their lives more fun, or not even making their lives more fun, but helping them tap into what they enjoy and help them just kind of build on that and really enjoy life.
And I think, as Kathy mentioned, when you're busy raising a family or at various stages in life, that things are kind of dictated to you. I know, rapidly approaching empty nester stage of life, my purpose is certainly evolving, from what it was years ago when I was a regular in the baby food and diaper aisle at the local grocery store. Don't have to do that anymore, but the things that give me joy are still there. They're just a little bit different. And I think helping our residents discover that is really one of the great things that your team does.
And you're so terrific at that, Casey, Jo, because I'm sure each day you come into contact with people who seriously question, what is my purpose at this point in my life? And to be reminded that we all have that and can all seek to achieve even more purpose than we've had before is a real positive message.
When you just look at throughout your life, like you guys have said, what you've enjoyed, just tapping into that again, it doesn't matter what stage in your life you're at, just recognizing it and going back to it and doing it again. That's okay. You just got to do what you enjoy, and then life just seems easy and better and happy and everything's good.
Find your joy. Thank you so much, Casey.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Casey. Joe. Legacy Retirement Communities has been a stable gold standard for independent living, service, and programming since 1995. John, where do listeners go to learn more and get their retirement questions answered?
Lots of different ways you can contact us via the old-fashioned telephone, 402-436-3000, email questions@legacyretirement.com, and our website, legacyretirement.com.
And Kathy, it's always good having you on KFOR again, this time sharing your passion for people through Legacy Retirement Communities. We'll talk again next week.
Let the adventure continue.
This is Dale Johnson on The Aging Adventure, brought to you by Legacy Retirement Communities.